In Pokémon TCG Pocket, both random matchmaking and event matches share a single format for public matches, the standard format, as the meta stabilizes over the weeks following a new set release. Players quickly get bored of facing the same top-tier decks, and most are left waiting for the next expansion to refresh their experience of the game. NOEX format. Pokémon X are a unique mechanic in the Pokémon TCG. These Pokémon are significantly stronger than regular ones, but come with a trade-off. When knocked out, they award your opponent 2 points or prize cards, designed to speed up games and add in power level. Pokémon X are rarer than the regular cards, and some players feel they're less balanced and less enjoyable to play with and against. NOEX is an alternative format that bans Pokémon X entirely. This format draws inspiration from real life, custom formats like Gym Leader, Challenge, and the game's solo mode tasks, where players are rewarded for using only cards of 3-star rarity or lower. Pokémon X are the only cards classified as 4-star. NOEX has quickly become one of the most popular non-standard formats in Pokémon TCG Pocket, supported by frequent tournaments and an active community. There's even a permanent NOEX private room. Available, simply enter NOEX as the password in a private match to join. This room is a great place to test your NOEX deck against other players. It turns out that some standard meta decks such as Brock, Koga, or Blaine don't require any Pokémon X to begin with, so they're naturally good picks in this format. Cards like Greninja and Farfetch are also staple in this lower power format where entire typings, such electric as and darkness, are pretty much absent. Decks, Blaine decks, which thrive in the genetic Apex format, and Executor decks leveraging the mythical island evolutionary line with Superior for support. Other competitive choices include Koga, Greninja, and Melmetal decks. Ironically, while many players turn to NOEX to escape the repetitive standard format, NOEX itself is less diverse than standard. This comes as no surprise as the game's designers balance cards with Pokémon X in mind, not specifically for NOEX. To address this, some tournaments are experimenting with hybrid formats that allow only a few underused Pokémon X cards. Pikachu X and Mewtwo X were the dominant threats of the last formats and rightfully remain so. But Fighting and Gyarados decks are now given these top-tier, pick-strong competition. Singleton in Pokémon faces a unique challenge. Compared to MTG, evolution cards depend on other specific cards to reach their full potential. Limiting decks to a single copy of each card makes it difficult to consistently evolve. Into Stage 2 Pokémon, these strategies start at a disadvantage. In contrast, decks using basic Pokémon X or strong standalone cards tend to perform better. EX format. Many of the best decks rely on not just one, but multiple Pokémon EX, such as Pikachu EX paired with Zapdos EX, Celebi EX with Executor EX, or Moltres X alongside Charizard EX. The ability to consistently access multiple Pokémon EX streamlines the gameplay and puts archetypes with 1 to no viable Pokémon EX at a disadvantage. To address this, some tournament organizers have been experimenting with a new format where only one Pokémon EX is allowed per deck. Unfortunately, the results suggest that this approach hasn't significantly shifted the metagame from the regular format. Mewtwo EX, along with grass and water decks, still dominate. Interestingly, the true stars of this format are non-X Stage 2 allowed as 2-offs, such as Gardevoir Superior and Greninja. These cards have exceptional power levels and pretty much carry their respective types to the top of the competition. Coinflip format. Arguably one of the most entertaining formats. Coinflip tournaments only allow cards with coin flip attacks and effects and their pre-evolutions to be played. This format embraces pure RNG, turning every match into a chaotic gamble. Whether you rage at your misfortune or revel in being outrageously lucky, one thing's for sure, no one can accuse you of skill issue. Multi-energy format. The viable decks in Pokémon TCG Pocket are largely monotype due to the mechanics of the energy zone, which supplies energy randomly, unlike a predictable alternation of energy types. The randomness means players might never draw the type of energy needed to power up their differently typed Pokémon. This heavily discourages multi-energy decks in competitive play. For example, Dragonite decks, which require at least 2 different types of energy, have struggled to achieve any significant form of success in tournaments. To create a more unique metagame, some tournaments require to run 2 or 3 different types of energy in the deck. The metagame in these formats often falls short of expectations. Many players circumvent the intent of the rule by simply adding a second type of energy to otherwise monotype decks, relying on attackers that can function with star energy, such as the Froakie line, or hoping for favorable energy draws. Alternatively, the format devolves into widespread use of Dragonite or star Pokémon decks. Efforts to balance this format with additional restrictions, such as banning colorless Pokémon, limiting EX Pokémon, or requiring players to utilize all-included energy, types at least once often worsen the initial intent to diversify these tournaments. In TCG Pocket, we're lucky to have a hard-working, grassroots community and curious players to experiment with different formats. Until some get noticed and supported officially,